I'm Nick Samios, Liberal Democrats candidate for Berowra. Welcome to this little live stream we call the Berowra Express. Today I wanted to answer a question I was asked at our weekly campaign barbecue last week, and that question was, what are you and the Liberal Democrats going to do for the people of Berowra? It's a great question. My answer to that question is not only applicable though to people local here in Berowra, but it applies everywhere. And so my guest today is Paul Barker, the LDP candidate for Corangamite in Victoria. Now, unlike other parties, the Liberal Democrats, the policies of the Liberal Democrats, I should say, are entirely predictable. And that's because all our policies are built on four foundational principles: individual liberty, personal responsibility, small government and free markets. And knowing this, you can predict where we will land on any given issue and what we're going to deliver for people in any given electorate. But before we dive into that, let me introduce Paul Barker, Lib Dem's candidate for the electorate of Corangamite. G'day, Paul. What do you know?
Righto. So we've done about 7 of the 24 barbecue specials that I'm running around the electorate, meeting a whole bunch of different people, having conversations with people that have previously not been politically active, but are now at the point where they're looking for a fresh change.
Yeah, it's interesting that you inspired by yourself, actually. You've given me some tips on how to run those barbecues. You're a lot more active than I am because you do 2 a week, don't you?
Correct.
Yeah, wow. And you're getting good turnouts?
Yeah, so the best we've had it so far is around 10 to 15. Yep. It'd be nice to have more, but there have been plenty of previous political campaigns, not just federal, where multiple candidates have got together and they've only had like a showing of 3 or 4 people. So I'm quite happy with where we're at the moment and understand that a lot of people are politically disengaged and don't political candidates in their spare time.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we've had about 10 to a dozen to the couple that we've had. Now I'm going to cheat tomorrow because for a couple of reasons. We're going to do an evening one because you've inspired me to do evening ones. So tomorrow there's a pizza shop down the road, and I'm just going to get a bunch of pizzas.
Excellent.
So anyone coming along, you're going to miss out on the beef sausage. It's going to be a pizza. Now, so I was asked last week, as someone said to me, listen, what are you going to do for the people of Berowra? Now, before I answer that question, what are you going to do for the people of Corangamite?
Well, quite simply, leave them alone. It does sound quite simplistic, but that's actually what it is. And if you told people that you were going to leave them alone as government 10 years ago, after you, but looking at what we've experienced the last 2 years, people being left alone now, I think, is a much more attractive option.
Yeah, just leave me alone is what they say. It's funny. I was watching. I'm working from home today, which is very rare for me. I'm normally in the office or out and about, but I had meetings closed, and I was watching Sky News at midday, and there was one of the Liberal Party ministers was on, and he said people want less government and more freedom. I thought, hang on a minute, that's our T-shirt. What's going on there? But that's exactly right. We want to be left alone. Listen, here's my answer to that question. Government is too big. Governments take too much money out of your pocket, and they purportedly do that so that they're going to use your money to solve your problems. But when government does stuff, I mean, it's firstly, it's wasteful. That's the first thing. So what we're going to do for you, the people of Berowra, is we're going to leave more of your money in your pocket so that you can prioritise which of your problems you want to solve. You've got the freedom to solve them in the manner that you want to solve them. And you're going to be able to do it more cost effectively. So that's what I'm going to do for the people of Berowra. We're not going to promise you a new hospital or anything like that. We're going to leave more money in your pocket so you've got more money to solve the problems the way you want to do it.
And understanding that no politician or bureaucrat can ever understand the nuance and values and priorities that you, the individual, have.
Exactly. Now, listen, let's dive into the Freedom Manifesto and put a little bit of meat on those bones. So we love this document. I mean, it's just fantastic. And there's 10 policies to save Australia. And today there's just a couple that I'm going to take little tiny extracts out. And you can see how substantial this document is by you're seeing that we're just taking tiny extracts. Now, one of the things that we've got this chart in here And it's a chart of debt. And everybody thinks, the Liberal Party is conservative, the Labor Party, the big spenders. I mean, get a load of that. I mean, the Liberal Party, it's not true. They're both they both spend like drunken sailors.
Well, the Liberal Party are great at conserving debt
Yeah,
and actually growing it. If you look at this chart,
it's unbelievable, isn't it? Absolutely unbelievable. So what, since 2007, in 2007, the federal government had zero net debt and a robust economy. We're now on track, after 6 prime ministers, by the way, we're now on track for over $1 trillion in debt in the coming years. I do economics. I mean, I'm a finance person, so I am interested in economics, and we've had all this MMT lately, modern monetary theory, which presumes that you can print money with impunity. But we're now seeing this inflation. Last year, there's not going to be inflation; it's going to be transitory. I just Googled inflation, and here I've got 3 of the major papers, certainly in Sydney. I'm in the Sydney Morning Herald, the Australian, and the AFR, and they're all talking about inflation. I did this, I think it was this morning, or it might have been yesterday evening. So, and Campbell Newman tweeted today about this as well. And of course, because inflation brings high interest rates. It becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do lots of stuff to cut debt and deficit. We're going to cut government spending. One of the things we want to do is to cut all federal departments except defence have to trim by 10%. And by doing that, we can introduce low flat taxes, a $40,000 tax-free threshold, and a 20% flat income tax, and it's also a 20% company tax as well. So that's how we're going to do it. That's what we're going to do, and that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah, and not only is it great for finance, but also simplifying business accounting. Like, just think of how much work that you're currently spending organising everything, where if you know that it's just the same goalposts across the board, it'll make everything much simpler and less stressful.
Well, I had an economics professor, when I was studying economics, and he used to say, the more you cut up the cake, the more sticks to the knife. So that's exactly right what you're saying. If we can just fewer slices of the cake, and there'll be less of it sticking, because that's inefficiency. All that stuff sticking to the knife is inefficiency. Listen, what do you got on this weekend?
This weekend we've got a few things going on. Friday we're meeting up with 2 of the 3 Senate candidates here in Torquay. That's ending weather on the Friday evening, then having a bit of barbecue. Saturday I'm meeting up with constituents in Moriac, which is a rural type area. And then Sunday we're back at Torquay in the same location for our Geelong branch meeting, and the second part to the campaign barbecues for the weekend.
Fantastic. Well, as I said a little bit earlier, here's what we're doing. We've got that's not it. That's the Freedom Manifesto. Wrong slide. We've got our, we're calling it, it's Liberty Barbecue. It's this Friday night. So tomorrow night, 7 o'clock at the Willow, it's blocked up by the logo there, but at Willow Park in Hornsby. So Willow Park in Hornsby, it's at 7 o'clock, and come and get some pizzas. Come and get a pizza and we'll have a yarn with myself. We may get John Ruddock there. Can't promise that. I think he's going to try and come along, but come along and meet some like-minded people and have a bit of fun.
That's Paul, it.
We are the Berowra Express. We're not the All Stations. So thank you very much for joining me, and I wish you all the very best in your campaign. We're in for a lot of fun over the next couple of months.
Thanks, Nick. And I think we're going to have some success.
Absolutely.
If you just look at the shift away from the major parties over recent years, adding the stellar performance by Tim Courtie and David Limbrick in the Victorian Parliament, I think you're going to see a lot of good stuff come out of both the federal and state elections this year.
Yeah, look, I agree, and I think what's great about our party is we do have substance, and I invite people to look at to go to ldp.org.au, have a look at our Freedom Manifesto. I mean, we're not, and the thing is, as I said before, we're principled, so where we're going to land. We're sticking to our principles. We're not flip flopping in the breeze and the latest popularity poll, or we're not going to be influenced by what we're seeing on Twitter and on we've got principles, and it's
all the lobbyists. There's a lot of people that are concerned that lobbyists will swing us around, or we're just vote harvesting tool for the Liberal Party. We are anything but the Liberal Party. We are Liberal Party in actual name. Like the problem is that the Liberal Party have butchered the name Liberal, so people associate that name Liberal negatively with politics, where I think we can actually bring back the Liberal to the political spectrum.
Well, it's interesting you say that. How many people have you met? And I mean, I meet them every time we have a barbecue, and they say, you know what, I was in the Liberal Party for 20 years, 10 years, but they've totally sold us out. They don't even know what the word means anymore. And, thankfully, we've now got a spiritual home with you guys. It really is quite amazing. All right, the train's pulling out. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you coming along, Paul. Take it
Excellent.
easy.
Well, thank you, and I'll see you later on.
No worries. Take it easy. Cheers.